back to Musings by Nikki. I am here today because B is for beeswax, or it says beesworks. We are doing junk journaling A to Z, and we are still in the bees because you all are some creative people, and I'm telling you what, I cut it way back, but we've done some beads and buttons, and we've done we've done several things, right? We did bags and paper sacks. Now we're going to do B is for beeswax. And because I am not a super experienced beeswaxer, I have used it a few times, but clearly I still have a huge bag full of it. This I just got on Amazon. It is yellow beeswax. I know you can get white as well. I feel like this is the one is the white. I don't know. Is the white natural, or does it have to be bleached or something? I'm not really sure, but I know this is an all natural one. So this is just the brand that I have, and there is enough beeswax in here to beeswax things for the rest of my life and my grandchildren's children. It comes in little tiny pellets. You'll see that in a second. And like I said, because I am not a super experienced beeswaxer, we're just going to do this like Thunderdome style. We're going to say, will it beeswax, right? Will it beeswax? I have brought a variety of things out from my stash, and we're just going to try beeswaxing on some things and see how it goes. I have also brought along my trusty Zap heat gun. This thing has seen some things. I have also got my really nice iron. Don't tell my husband, guys, that I'm using a really nice iron. But I don't have one of those little ones like some of the crafters do, those cutesy little crafty ones. Now, I will say, if this goes well today and I enjoy this, I would consider investing in one of those little craft irons. And I might have to invest in a new iron as well after I do this because, okay, we might ruin my nice iron. But, you know, it's in the name. It's for, I do it for you guys. It's in the name of science. Ooh, there's something ishy-ooey on there already. So maybe, you know what? Oh, that's just the water, just the steam water stuff. Our water is very hard here. So that's just coming right out of those little things. Anyway, you can see how this iron has all kinds of steam vents because this is a strong steam iron. So the craft irons have no steam holes. They're just a flat thing. So then, you know, thus the beeswax doesn't get all up in there. I do have this heat protector shield that I use. Like I've got a couple of these for ironing on vinyl. So I'm hoping that this will protect my iron. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I also brought along a palette knife because if we're going to try and beeswax this little thing, I don't want to have my fingers down there. But if we're using the heat gun, I do know this from the past, you know, when I go to blow the beeswax, to melt it, it's going to blow everything everywhere. So I don't want to put my finger down there because ouch. So palette knives work really great for this kind of thing, but you can use lots of different implements. I would just make sure that if we're doing it the heat thing, that you're not using something plastic because you'll melt it, because heat guns and irons get hot. So I'm going to use this, and we're just gonna go in. I've got some fabrics, I've got some sewing paper, book page, music. I thought, you know, let's see what happens. These are some of my newer, this is a newer kit that I have, large cabinet cards. I thought, let's throw some in the middle there. Sometimes beeswax makes things see-through. I've got some regular old coffee stain paper if we so wish. And then I've got a kind of a master board of sorts. It's a collaged piece of, this is what I did a long time ago with a bunch of sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock that I wasn't really fond of the design on the other side. So I collaged scraps over a whole bunch of them. So I thought we can try throwing some on and highlighting some areas on that. But let's start with a book page. How about, huh? Let's just start, well, let's start with the basics. And I'm gonna do the first one here. So this is just a coffee stained, it got a little wrinkly, so we're just gonna We're just going to start with this one. So this is how they come. It smells like beeswax for sure. These little tiny pellets, right? Now, a little goes a long way. This is a lot. And you don't want to put too much on because once it gets hot, I mean, these little suckers spread out all over the place and you don't want a puddle of it. I am doing this on my glass craft mat as well because I'm hoping, oh, this has got to stay on. Stay on. Okay. Because I'm hoping that that will kind of catch, you know, and then I can clean that off easier. Plus, it's more heat resistant than my, you know, self-healing mat, which is not self-healing, by the way. Okay, so I'm just kind of got these spread out, and I'm going to do the heat gun first. So I'm going to, now, once we turn this thing on, it's going to be loud, and I'm not sure how video quality will be when I'm like if I try to talk over this, but it's only on or off. There's no like high or low, you know, blower setting. And it needs to warm up. This is totally cool because I haven't used it. So you have to let it heat up for a second because if you put it on here when it's not hot, all it's going to do is blow them all over. And you don't want to come at it sideways like this or hardly at an angle. Most of it you're going to want to do up and down and probably from a distance at first and then work your way closer. Because again, there's less likely of blowing little beeswax pellets all over the place if you start up higher and then get more direct, right? So that's our game plan. I just said that like I was an expert at this, but trust me, guys, that was just mostly conjecture. So I'm going to turn this thing on and we're going to heat it up and see what's doing, okay? Getting hot, getting hot. Oh, I'm going to keep the palette knife in my hand too because in case I need to move any of them around. Okay, it's getting hot. So let's see already blowing around. So this is my redirector and I'm starting down here and we'll see. So they kind of soften up. It's kind of satisfying to watch them melt actually. There they go. Can you see? I should have put my camera closer. As they go, and you can kind of blow the wax around. Once they start melting, you can kind of direct the wax a little with your heat gun. Now with the iron, I'm imagining I won't be able to do that as much. Okay, I'm gonna go up higher again. See how it looks like your dog peed down there? Hold on. These waxes are flying around. If I can get them all to just kind of soften up, then they'll stay in place. Don't ask me why I'm doing this many right away off the cuff. You know my disclaimer about not being an expert? Well, that super goes right now. Okay, now they're less likely to blow around because they're softening up for the most part. Except the ones that are blowing around. Okay. Because you could use some of this beeswax that's now melting onto this page and melt it and spread it onto other pages as well. So we'll do some of that. Off my page, off my thing. Okay, yeah, so there's a bunch of, it's not overly hot, right? Okay, so we're gonna we'll put that there. You know what, let's put a couple pages. And put a couple pages, And then we'll put our heat protector, and we've got the iron set to, oh, wool and silk, because, you know, I don't know. I have not a clue. So, but now let's see what happens. My theory is that as we heat it up, the beeswax will come through, and I can kind of see that happening. Will kind of come through and soak into the next one. Now, hopefully, we're not just melting the two pages together or melding them. So far, it's not coming through my heat protector shield. So that's a good thing. I've seen people do this with parchment paper too, but I've also seen where it comes through the parchment paper, and we don't want that. So we're going to do this. I think as long as I peel them apart while they're still warm, then they shouldn't stick to each other. Right? In theory, guys, is that a good theory? Yes. Okay, let's try. Let's see what's going on down underneath here. Okay. Yes, we've successfully shared some wax with the book pages. Which actually, the book pages look really cool with some wax in there. So now, this is, yeah, okay. This is more like what we should be going for. It's not like super strong. I can't feel a ton of wax on there like I could on this one, right? So let's move this around. Let's soak up some more of that wax in the middle there. Yeah, okay, that's more what we're going for. Okay, let's go in the middle here and see if we can. I honestly have no idea what setting I should be on. This seems to be working, and it's not overly hot, right? I don't think I'd want to be up on like cotton, because that might burn my book pages. I can kind of see through this heat protector shield, like that there's wax starting to come through there. Which is cool. Okay. Let's check her out. Awesome. So that kind of makes these book pages look kind of cool. Oh, look at that one's all wrinkly. It's like pattern almost from where this sheet has. So now the nice thing about that is the iron has definitely worked better to thin out the beeswax. And because I had so much like excessive amount of beeswax on there, doing this was able to share some through to these book pages, which, like, how cool is that? It kind of turns them transparent, right? So you can see, let's see, can you see this? As it looks just like a dark, well, there you can kind of see it, right? You can see the print from the back side coming through because the beeswax is kind of making it transparent. It's doing that in the middle there, but it doesn't feel waxy at all. It just kind of feels like, well, it smells delicious. It smells good. It almost looks like you spilled oil on it or something, right? But it's really cool, and I think that would add another layer. Or if you could do the whole thing, it would probably make a really cool, like, you know, things for pockets. I love how it looks on this one with this. Okay, so now, let's see. This is still wet in the middle, but definitely doing it with the iron. Now, there's still some spots where it feels waxy, but in the middle, it doesn't feel waxy anymore, but it makes it kind of transparent. Look at, you can see my hand through, right? Cool. That would definitely be cool for making, so if you make it see-through like that kind of, right? Can you imagine if you put a tag behind that or something? Or even just, because it's flexible, it's not waxy necessarily. Huh. Well, we'll let it dry and then I'll try folding it and we'll see what happens, okay? We'll let that dry all the way. So we'll put these over here. Next up in the Thunderdome, let's do some music paper. Let's see what the music paper looks like. And I think we'll just use the iron because that makes much more sense. I kind of wonder if we sandwich, maybe we put some beeswax, sandwich okay, we're going to put some beeswax down. Okay, and then we'll sandwich it, but the beeswax can't go too far. We want to concentrate it where the music is anyway, and we'll put that there. We'll just plan to share the beeswax right away. Then we'll put our heat protector down. And let's see, now though, oh, it's melting them right away. Oh yeah. The first time I did this, I did it with my heat gun only, and that was mainly because I was scared to ruin my iron. But now I have this heat protector sheet. Now I know you can get this stuff at craft stores. You can get it. This is from Amazon, right? But it's slick if you don't have to buy more pieces of things, more equipment, if you can just use yours, because it's not coming through this at all. Now, I don't know, like with repeated use, if this will start soaking through at some point, but it doesn't seem to be yet. Try to go back and forth and make sure that this is all the way melted. You can kind of see, right? The more I go, the more it mooshes that around. I'm kind of applying some pressure to try and get it to move the wax around. That was the one thing with the heat gun, I could blow it around a little, right? Okay. Let's just take a look. Oh, I melted one right to my tray there. Yeah, it's definitely not coming through this. That's a good thing. Look at how see-through that one is. You can totally tell because this was all white space, and now you can see the letters from the other side, right? Cool. Totally cool. I love the way that looks. How cool would it be to rip that up for like parts of your clusters or to add it to pages or behind things as you're layering? I just think that adds another dimension to it. That's really cool. And then this music sheet, it just makes it does make it transparent, right? And it makes it so that you see the music from the other side through to this side. But there's still some wax there, so let's see if we can, oh, palette knife, double duty, scraping wax off of the thing so we can put it, ouch. My glass mat's a little warm there. Okay, let's do, I've got one more book page over here. So let's see if we can get a little bit more beeswax in the areas where there isn't any right now. And then maybe we'll get some more on the book page too. Okay, I don't want to put too much because there's already kind of thick here. The one thing I can't do, like I said, with the iron as much as I could do with the heat gun was move it around a little. Here it just kind of mooshes where it is in place. Okay. Let's see how that goes. We don't want that one over there. We want you over here. Over here. Okay. So the thing that I've done, I've seen people do, apart from crafting, I've seen people make like waxed cloth for covering, you know, bowls of leftovers and stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious when we do that's why I brought some fabric out, because I'm kind of curious to play with that a little bit. And I know you can make, you can waterproof things with beeswax, so thus the cloth. But then I think it also kind of wraps around because it gives it some memory. Trying to Definitely that's spreading out in the place that I wanted it to before. Okay. Oh, cool. Yep, that spread it around on that much more. And that's cool looking on here. That goes in the drying pile. And look how transparent that made that now. Plus it smells lovely. So I'm curious to see, this one's a little thicker because I had a lot on there. I'm curious to see once it's like dry, if we fold it, is it gonna crack, you know? So we'll see. This one is thick. It's like it needs to share it with something else. Should we try sharing it with this? Let's try sharing some with this sewing paper, huh? This might be a recipe for disaster, or it might be a moment of brilliance. Put your votes in now. Disaster or brilliance? It might just like tear and shred as I try to pull it off. Or it might be really cool. Oh, let's see. You know what? That made this sewing paper look like glassine, you guys. What? Look at that. Let's try to catch some on this other side here. That's really a cool trick. Because sewing pattern paper, if you can find some, usually you can find it really cheap. You know, Emily, I've had several people send me some in Happy Mail now. And yes, that will be happening. I'll be making more of that. It totally looks like glassine. Can you see that? Yep. Yeah, pretty much, right? So like here's what it looked like before. And then the glassine part here. Oh, it made it even more crinkly too. Yep. Okay, that's a good trick. And we'll let this fully dry and then we'll try folding it at the end and see what we get. Let's try one of these next. I was mostly thinking because like it gets, ooh, how do I baby wipe this off here? Maybe, because I don't want it going on the back. Hold on, let's grab a baby wipe. That is warm. Is this a good idea, guys? She says as she continues to put more beeswax and stuff on there. I should have, you know what I'm going to do? Because I need that to iron on top. I'm just going to, you know what, no. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, let's see. I grabbed a piece of corrugated cardboard. Let's see if that acts as a heat buffer or if we start it on fire. You guys, I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for the Junk Journal A to Z. I'm sacrificing my iron. Well, so far I don't seem to be sacrificing my iron. Now here, I'm not going to be able to keep these right to the middle, will I? Nope, I won't. But, you know, let's just see. Let's take some of those away. We can always add, we cannot take away, right? And I wonder if I try to keep them right in the middle. Nope, that won't work. They do need to be dispersed. Do you guys like listening to my thoughts in my head that are out loud? I hope so. Otherwise you wouldn't be here, right? Or you're just here to watch me potentially set my cardboard and my whole studio on fire. All right, let's just give that a go. Which side is down? This side goes down. Okay. Plus, we can see if corrugated cardboard will it beeswax. I can kind of smoosh it around, but I can't control how far it goes. Let's see. Well, I kind of kept it in the circle, although I couldn't make it all the way through the whole circle. But I was just thinking, you know, if it would be cool if it would make it kind of transparent, but not so much. Although I will say this is on cardstock and it soaked up that beeswax way faster. But it's not as transparent because it's on cardstock. Look, you can kind of see the shadow of my fingers back there, but not enough to actually do anything, you know, cool with like putting a picture behind it or something. You can barely see the words through there if I push it down. But if you printed these out onto regular paper and then tried to do this, I bet it would be really cool. Or if you cut out the circle and put some of that Pretender glassine in there and then put a picture behind it, how cool would that be? It would be super vintagey looking. Anyway, that did, it's not waxy at all. So that does, I mean, it adds coolness. Okay, that one I'm not as impressed with. Moving on to, let's see, let's do this one and then we'll play with fabric afterwards, okay? Oh, I wanted to do that little tea card. What did I do with the tea card? I don't know, but I've got more of them over here. Okay, let's see. So far we haven't set anything on fire, bonus. So, I mean, that's a win. Okay. Now I'm going to see just like what happens if we, this is printed, right? So the last one is printed. It doesn't seem to be, it doesn't seem to affect it that it's printed, the ink at all or anything, which would make sense because I've seen people do that before. But let's just see what happens if we try to do just little pieces like that. I can't remember. That side is down. Maybe it'll make them look really cool. There's nothing printed on the back, so it's not going to bring anything to the front from the back. Ooh, hot. So I'm not 100%, like they've got to dry a little bit. Well, they're kind of see-through already, guys. Kind of made them transparent. They don't feel, again, they don't feel super waxy. This one just looks, this one not so much because I think it has a darker background, but this one, because there's a lighter background, it just added kind of a cool feel to it, and it's see-through now, so the back looks really cool too. It's slightly transparent, it's just not too, you know, super opaque. Again, these are printed on cardstock. We'll let them like cool and dry all the way. And then finally, let's try, one of the things that I know that you can do is kind of just drop some on and, you know, see if you can kind of highlight some certain areas. So we'll just try, you know, dropping a few on and see what happens. See if it just adds, you know, texture to a collage like this. This is how I've used it in the past. I've put little bits of it on papers like this, just to kind of add a highlight. Or just to add some more, you know, just to add more texture. It's just another layer of multimedia. Also, beeswax will act as a resist. So if you're doing multimedia, you can put some beeswax down, and then any water-based stuff that you put over the top of it. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It wants to roll up now. Any water-based stuff that you would put over the top of it, it will resist. So like there, let's hit that with my heat gun. See if I can blow that around. It didn't, the iron didn't want to do it because that's a cutout. But so if you were to use like distress inks or sprays or, you know, over the top of this, it would resist in those areas. So then it gives you another cool multimedia technique. There. These all did fine. So now if you were to hit these with some distress ink, which maybe we'll do that with the original piece or something in a minute, but let's let that dry. Did you see me literally just blow on it 1 quick second like that's gonna do anything? Okay, let's try the patterned piece first. I have a patterned piece and a regular piece of muslin. So let's try the patterned piece first and just see what happens. I have now applied semi-liberally. Okay. The thing that I'm kind of curious about with the regular muslin is if it, you know, I can use it as a resist and then try putting some watercolor, or like you could dye almost like you would do with a batik fabric, right? So to make batik, you print like a wax onto the fabric first, and then, you know, you dye or paint around that. But you can paint the wax on in designs, and then when you wash the wax out, you end up with the resist. So it resists the dye in those areas, or the paint, or whatever you're using. Okay, it has definitely absorbed it, but it needs to dry all the way. It feels cool. Yeah, I don't know. Let's put some more on there. Maybe we're making a cover for, you know, my lunch leftovers. Suddenly, it's lunchtime now. I can hear the girls out there making lunch. I can bring my fancy new lunch cover, leftover cover out. Let's see. I kind of wonder if this would make the fabric more flexible. Like if you could do cool things with it. You could definitely make like envelopes or paper sacks out of it. Not paper sacks because they wouldn't be paper sacks because this is fabric. Guys. Sometimes. Okay. The cardboard is definitely helping. I haven't lit anything on fire, as you can see, since you're watching this. Who knows why you're watching it? You know what? This is the kind of video that's good to watch because you can let somebody else do all the failing or figuring out, and then you can just take that and run with it and be successful. Okay. So, it's very hot when you pick it up, so, you know, don't do what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm going to have to let it dry and cool down. But I can totally see how that would be a thing to cover your food with, or like cover things with, because I'm assuming, yeah, it has some memory to it, kind of. But it also stabilizes the fabric. I mean, it gives it a cool look, right? So it looks more vintagey, which, yeah, can you see that on camera? Here's the part where there isn't any. And then here's where there is. It kind of gives it this vintage because I'm using the yellow. Oh, you can see it better on the back, I think. Oh, lighting. Yeah. See how this looks washed out with light? It's not. That's not lighting washing out. That's just how it looks without the beeswax. And this is where it looks with the beeswax. So it definitely makes it more sturdy, like it stabilizes it. So you could use it to make an envelope or something. And this would be a long and weird shaped envelope. But you could make envelopes out of this, or little bags, pockets. This would be cool as a fabric flip. Or what I'm kind of thinking is, if you just sewed a piece of this into your signature, even, it's got a different heft to it once you put the beeswax in. It'd be a cool thing to add into a signature for sure. But let's play with the let's play with this one and see what we can do, because I'm kind of curious. Now I don't want to, what I want to try is make a resist with it. So I want some, I don't want a ton of beeswax. We're just going to put it in a couple places and see what happens. Oops, it's going to stay. It's got to stay there first. I have to keep doing this to remember which side goes down. This side goes down here. Okay. Because what I think would be cool, you know, I'm working right now on my watercolor garden journals. And I was thinking, I might have saturated this too much. I don't know. We'll see. I was thinking, I wonder if we beeswax on some muslin, if it can act as a resist, and we splatter some like watercolor paint or something on there. Can we get kind of a watercolory design effect? Okay. We'll see. Oh yeah. Okay. That's not super saturated. I think I was seeing the back of that. So you can see, right? See where it's, that actually gets pretty transparent. Now that would be kind of cool. Look at, you can see through it really well. You can kind of see through it where there isn't any beeswax, but where there is beeswax, you can definitely see through it. So that kind of gives its own cool texture. Definitely makes it, you know, stabilized in those areas. But should we just, for the sake of fun, let's see where, let's see, let's try some of this cool red here. And you know what? I'm going to see if I can just kind of, I should get my water brush actually for this, but you know, let's just kind of see what happens. Oh, I wonder if I put some water on here too. We'll just get everything super wet. Okay. This has a unique smell now. That is a, it's not awful, it's just strange. Okay. Okay, let's see if it actually resists. Let's put it on that side and see what happens. Curiouser and curiouser, guys. Is it going to actually resist the watercolor, or is it going to hold it in there? Or would I have to like wash this? I've never done batik. I just kind of have a general idea of how it's done. It kind of looks like the color is not resisting, so I wonder if the beeswax doesn't work as well, or it, like I said, if I would have to wash it. Or if I have to put the beeswax on there thicker, that could be a thing too. Because it's not really resisting it. So that thing about resisting, I lied, guys, apparently. It still feels super cool. We might have to chalk this up as a win/loss because it still looks cool and it feels cool. And it's a fun multimedia thing to do. Now I don't have to scream when I'm not. But it didn't seem to resist. And I wonder if you have to put a much thicker layer. Now that I'm doing this, I'm wondering if you have to put a much thicker layer of beeswax for it to fully resist. Or if I would have to wash this or something. And as I wash it, that comes out. I'm not sure on that. But I kind of am not mad at that either, though. It looks cool and it feels cool. And that sewn into a page, you know, sewn into a journal would feel really cool. And look, you can kind of see, again, where that beeswax is, you can see the letters behind there. So if you imagine, if you made a whole sheet, you know, a whole piece of this beeswaxy, let's just do some really quick here to the end of this video. Let's just see if we can saturate this piece. So let's lay it over. Now, see, you can't see when it's up in the air, but when I lay it over something, you can totally see the letters underneath, which that's what makes me think it would look really cool in a journal. Because, like, let's see. If you had a page like this underneath, you know, like a pattern paper or whatever, and you had this thing laying over as part of your, you know, sewn into your signature or something, it'd be kind of cool because you could see through it. But I bet that you could also write on this with the right kind of ink, right? Because a lot of it would smudge off. But let's just see. You know, I'm into creative journaling. Let's see. This is fairly dry. Yeah. Look at that. How cool would it be to... How cool is this? And it's not too see-through, so you could actually write on the other side too. Okay, that's kind of fun. It turns it into like kind of a papery thing. So you could journal on this. Smiley face happy, guys. Okay, so I will probably be doing some of this. It feels cool, and I really like how you can write on it, and it sounds cool as you're writing. Right? But because it stiffens it, it makes it legit to like write on it. And how fun would that be? How fun would it be to journal on fabric like this, beeswax fabric? And that's just a regular old Bic pen. Okay, so there's that. And there's that, adding some little texture to it. It's just another way to add some texture. It makes it shiny, right? So as I move it, can you see? Yeah, it catches the light. So it's just another way to add, and it feels cool. Then here's this one. Now that it is like cooled all the way, it's cool to the touch. Let's see what would happen if we tried to cover my coffee cup with it. Yeah? It needs to be saturated more, right? because it wants to pop up a little, but look at that. It has memory. I could totally put that in the fridge. Okay, kind of fun. But we're not here for that. We're here for journal application. So it would look cool made, you know, this, like I said, it stabilizes the fabric in a cool way and makes it so that you could sew it into a signature or make it into envelopes or something. Then let's look at these. I don't know that it did a ton to this one. It feels cool, but you can't really tell unless you see that that little corner isn't done. This one though, it made it a little bit transparent. So if you've got it on, but again, this is on thicker paper. So if you had it on thinner paper, it would probably go further. But that would look, if you did it on thinner paper, it would stabilize the thinner paper. And then that would look really cute dangling from a tag or tucked into something. This one, still not wowed. Not wowed. This one is probably my biggest win. I don't know, that or journaling on wax paper for some reason, wax fabric. But this like faux glassine, this is my biggest win. That's a win. Let's see, does it fold without cracking? Does it make it more brittle? Yep. But this one is, also, this one's really thick. Like this could have shared with some other ones. Let's see where it's thinner up here. Does it make it more brittle there? Well, this is also this is old music paper. So, but you know, it's see-through. So that would be kind of cool. I mean, can you imagine if you had a journal page? Now, what if you cut that out and you put some of this see-through music in that window instead? That'd be cool. And then made it a flip. That could be pretty cool. Now our book pages, now that they're dry, now that they're cooled down, it does change the feel of them just slightly. Let's try bending one of those in half, folding one of those, because it's thinner. Yeah, this one's thinner, so it doesn't crack, and it's not as old a paper. I can see a little bit of cracking. So I don't know if you'd want to like beeswax whole sheets of paper and then glue them into or sew them into a signature, because that might, yeah. Although it does tear very nice. It does make it tear nice. And could be really cool. Again, because it's transparent, so it could be cool along the edge of a page, right? That one's kind of a bad example because, let's do this one. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. If you were doing any sort of grunginess or anything, shabby, anything, that looks cool because you can see it coming through the other side. I would definitely do that as like an edge treatment, or that could even, the way it tore, that could even be a pocket. And then this, our original sheet here, really transparent. If you've got something right up next to it, right? But you have to have something right up next to it. Could we, again, this is probably going to be a hard no, because I think the one thing that it does is it makes it more brittle on a fold. So I wonder if you know, if you did this to an envelope, I would say probably not on the fold, because it does seem to make that more brittle. Hard to rip, hard to rip. But where the beeswax is it rips easier. Mixed media. Should we see what happens with some water paints on that really quick? Where did I put my, oh, like where did I put my paint? Oh yeah, and this is like empty. The cap is on, that's why it won't spray. Duh. Oh, it's not quite empty. Yeah, it definitely resists the moisture there. Ooh, this could be promising. Yeah, guys. That's kind of fun. This is why it works so awesome for mixed media. Look at what it does. And then we can take our wipe and just wipe it right off where the wax is. So that's cool. That's fun. Let's do a book page. That looks cool, doesn't it? Can you imagine some of that in collages or having that? You'd have to get it, I think you'd have to get the paper really wet to have it soak all the way through the color. But that looks really cool. Or even if you did this to, like if you did this to a page, just don't have it on the fold, you know? But how cool would that look in an art journal or something? Plus, again, it feels cool. But there, it's acting as a resist there. I'm sure it has something to do, ouch! That's still hot. Oh my gosh.
A few moments later.
If you ink, right, if you ink with your Beeswax oxides, you can wipe them right off of the wax, but they'll stay on the paper. Cool. Right? And really quick, we're getting like so close to an hour, but hold on. Let me grab what do we got here? Mowed lawn. Let's just spray some on over on this edge and all of that. Oh, here, we can do this right here. Okay, this is a Distress Oxide spray. And we'll use my dirty... Who knew this would turn into a mixed media video? There we go. It wipes off of the waxy part. That's cool looking too. Yeah, guys, this would be fun. This is fun. I'm glad I have a bag of beeswax. Let's see if now I can't stop myself. So like I said, I got mine on Amazon. I'm not sure. I should have looked. Nope, there is not a drop left in that thing. I'm not sure if there are like Etsy sellers that sell smaller bags of it or anything. But you could look if you're not interested in buying like a whole big bag right away. But like I said, this is enough to beeswax things forever and ever till death do we part. Thanks for coming along on my Thunderdome. Will it beeswax? You know, this is my biggest takeaway, guys. If you didn't buy it for any other reason than doing this, I'm going to go beeswax the heck out of a whole bunch of paper. Yeah, that doesn't make it tear any easier. So that's a win. That's going to be a thing. So guys, thanks for coming along on my super messy, look at this pile of junk that we've beeswaxed adventure today. And have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, whatever time it is, on whatever side of this big old globe of ours that you live on. And until I see you guys next time, stay crafty. I hope that you have some time to craft. That burn kind of stings. And I hope that you're happy. And I hope that you're at peace and you're peaceful. I hope that you guys are able to give somebody a big hug and go outside and take a deep breath of fresh air and be healthy and be safe and take care, guys. And God bless you. All right. Bye-bye.